Hello, good evening and welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Government and Goldfields Ghana Limited have reached an amicable agreement on transitional arrangements for the diamond mine. This will pave the way for renewed operations and potential Ghanaian ownership. More in this report.
This was contained in a statement from the presidency issued by Minister of Government Communications Felix Kwakye-Ofosu. By the agreement, Goldfields subsidiary Abosu Goldfields Limited will receive a new 12-month mining lease to continue open-pit mining operations. This lease, pending parliamentary ratification in May 2025, is aimed at protecting jobs and conducting feasibility studies to assess the mine's reserves and future lifespan. Under the new agreement, Goldfields will resume open-pit mining during the transition period, safeguarding jobs and conducting feasibility studies to establish the mine's reserves and mine life.
Finance Minister Dr. Tuforsen has maintained that increasing utility tariffs should not be seen as a solution to dealing with funding challenges facing the energy sector. The Finance Minister said this during a World Bank meeting on Ghana's Energy Compact Program. George Yafe reports.
Speaking at the World Bank engagement, the Finance Minister, Dr. Tuforsen, noted that looking at the current challenges facing the energy sector, we should not see tariff increase as the way to go to deal with the funding challenges facing the sector. The Finance Minister's comment are coming at a time that tariffs should be going up every quarter in line with the conditions under the IMF program. However, the Deputy Minister of Energy has revealed to Joy Business that government is working to deal with those variables that lead to tariffs going up significantly in every quarter of the year. According to the Minister of Finance, Dr. Tuforsen, the country needs about $2 billion every year to deal with this funding challenge facing the sector. He added that the Electricity Company of Ghana should also look at dealing with those internal challenges to help address the problem. Finance Minister argued that it was for this reason that is why Cabinet has approved private sector participation in the power distribution sector as part of government efforts to deal with this challenge facing the energy sector.
Exim Bank Ghana has announced that it is seeking funding from the country's development partners and investors to support more local firms exploring new markets. The move has been influenced by recent global trade tariffs that has affected some Ghanaian exporters. Sylvester Mensah is the chief executive of Exim Bank Ghana and has been speaking to Joy Business in Washington, D.C. on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank spring meetings.
If we were sufficient enough on our own to manage some of these funding, I'm sure would have remained in Accra. We are here to make our case to some of our partners who have agreed that this forum would offer a better opportunity for us to have enough time to go into some of these conversations. And so it is one of the reasons we are here, and we've had a couple of meetings, but the prospects are more likely from the Exim Bank, which is an African export and import bank, and we are still exploring other engagements. We have a number of engagements outlined between now and the 30th, and so let's see what comes out of some of these. But the ultimate objective is to have enough funding to support these key projects that we have outlined.
Honorable, I know you would play a key role, even though there's not been a disclosure yet. What role would the Exim Bank be playing in all those things, maybe even an advisory role in technical support in engaging the U.S. government, one, on the extension of AGUA, and also to see how we can minimize the recent tariff hikes on the Ghanaian economy?
Well, I'm happy to say that I was in the U.S. before the bill on AGUA was passed as a member of parliament. I had the occasion of meeting with the Black Congressional Caucus of the U.S. and discussing the whole concept of AGUA before it was finally passed. I think that we need that a lot more today than perhaps in the past. It is now that perhaps the sub-region is waking up to the prospects of AGUA. It is now that we see the global shift in business, manufacturing, particularly in the textile, garment, and apparel sector. And this is a time when AGUA may be more relevant to Africa and the West African sub-region. And so Yes, these discussions are ongoing. They have begun in small pockets, and I guess that eventually a big boost will be given to AGUA in order for the sub-region to take optimum advantage.
Away from Washington, D.C., senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoa, has stated that regulation of cryptocurrencies in Ghana would not have any impact on the cedi, particularly in cross-border or digital transactions. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, had announced that the central bank is set to begin regulating cryptocurrencies in Ghana starting September this year. Reacting to the development, Dr. Amoa said the strong reserve position of the Bank of Ghana should absorb any shocks.
What will happen is that the central bank itself, I think some few months ago, talked about its own digital currency, what we call the ECD. And that ECD is just similar to the cryptocurrency, but the difference is that with the ECD, it is the central bank or the state that is issuing it. The value of the ECD, which is the same as your cedi in your pocket, will be backed by the country's reserves. So the volatility there is just like what we have within the normal, Ghana cedi we are using. In the crypto space, because it is decentralized, the value of the currency is an issue of demand and supply. And currency per se should not have its value changing because of demand and supply. The stability of the currency should be influenced by the reserves that back the currency.
The Ghana Gold Board has officially begun licensing service providers in the gold trading sector starting today. A statement said that Ghanaians aged 18 and above, as well as fully owned Ghanaian companies, are now eligible to apply for various categories of licenses. More in this report.
The statement, the categories of licenses that can be applied effective immediately are as follows: aggregator license, self-financing aggregator license, buyer license tier 2 and buyer license tier 1. Further categories including refining, smelting, fabrication, storage, transportation and importation licenses will be made available for application starting in July 2025. The Gold Board also stressed the importance of understanding the legal requirements involved. An applicant must carefully read, understand and accept the terms and conditions of a license before proceeding to apply for same, the statement advised. The Gold Board reiterated a previous directive for all foreigners to exit the local gold trading market by 30th April 2025.
And to some other stories, senior country partner Deote Ghana, Deote has called for a strategic and deliberate effort to reduce the importation of certain food items into the country. He emphasized the need for a strong governmental commitment to fully implement existing agricultural policies. According to him, such measures will help lower food inflation and generate employment opportunities for Ghanaians. He made the remarks during the launch of the 2025 CEO Summit here in Accra.
The CEO Summit is one of Ghana's key business forums, providing a platform for dialogue between the private sector and government. Speaking at the launch, senior country partner Deote Ghana, Deote highlighted the urgent need to reduce the importation of food items that Ghana has the capacity to produce.
I think it has to start with the mindset of all of us agreeing and understanding that that is not the way to go. We need to first decide to produce what we eat. Now, that will mean setting a time frame. That will mean that the government also shifting and providing support. That will mean that being practical and being deliberate that this is what we want to produce. For example, tomatoes. And we'll say, okay, we'll support farmers with this. Within the next 2-3 years, we are cutting importation of tomatoes by half, or by 75%, or by 100%, and there has to be a plan. And if we leave the private sector, sometimes they will try, but when they meet challenges, and then they slip away. And these are the big hits that are happening to us. When we go on our dining tables, rice appears to be the most stable food that everyone eats. Why are we not able to produce it? Does it mean that our lands are not fertile for that? I'm not an agriculturalist, I don't know, but I'm saying that we need to be considering that, and we need to be producing that kind of items so that we would reduce our import bill.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana CEO Network, Ernest Ijo, emphasized the transformative potential of strong leadership across all sectors.
The call for courageous, innovative, and forward-thinking leadership has never been louder. The summit aims to convene Ghana's top business minds and public leaders to define strategies that will reset, renew, and reposition Ghana's economy for the future. And I'm honored to announce that the special guest of honor for this year's summit will be none other than the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Mahama. His presence underlines the summit's significance as a national platform for dialogue between the public and private sectors. The Ghana CEO Summit is an annual thought leadership and business networking forum that brings together CEOs, heads of states, policymakers, and investors from across Ghana and the West African sub-region.
This year's summit is under the theme, Reigniting Growth, Bold Decisions, Smart Actions, and Strong Leadership.
And on the sidelines of that same event, Chief Executive Officer of Petroleum Platinum Energy Limited, Michael Bosenbill, called for an effective zonalization policy that won't shortchange both oil marketing companies and consumers as well.
Your thoughts on the zonalization policy? The chamber is saying it should be scrapped. Boss is saying it should be maintained. What is your thought as a player?
Okay, thank you very much. For us as players, the focus is on product availability and seamless access to petroleum products, because a policy must aim at ensuring that the consumer gets the product at an efficient, cost. So whether there's zonalization or there's no zonalization, I think the key point is how efficient is the system. And from that standpoint, as a player, the current system is very inefficient. So if we want to continue with zonalization, let's make it efficient. Because this is not the first time. This policy has been there, but there have been some, challenges in recent years. So I am not in any way, in this straitjacket approach of saying, let's stop zonalization or, or otherwise. Bottom line, there must be seamless, operations. I'll give an example. I mean, last week I was in the northern part of the country visiting the team. We had a lot of challenges loading products at the Bupe depot, and all of a sudden, boss had run out of, stocks there. Meanwhile, we were told to move our vehicles from Tema to Bupe to load the products that were there for our stations up north. Unfortunately, they didn't have enough stocks, and we had to move those vehicles again back to Tema. It is these frustrations that make COMAC, which Petrosol is a member, say that zonalization should be scrapped. So the issue is not about the policy, it's about the implementation. So its implementation has to be seamless, because all these add up to cost to the consumer. Because when the cost of operation goes high, the consumer eventually suffers. So for me, it's about efficiency and making sure that the industry runs well.
Boss is saying it's going to review the policy, and you're also calling for it being effective. What are some of the things you think should be reviewed and be made effective?
See, there is double handling of products, and that must stop. So, for instance, why will boss carry products from Tema in tankers, go and discharge them into, a facility in Kumasi, and then you tell people to move tankers again to that place and take the products out?
You're still watching Prime Business. We are back with more. Hello again, welcome back to Prime Business. The Ministry of Transport is assuring businesses in the sector of plans to address some critical issues, including high port charges and congestion. With Ghana recording a reduction in traffic at the ports, players in the sector believe the challenges need to be promptly addressed. Speaking at a breakfast meeting with the Chartered Institute of Transport and Logistics, Transport Minister Joseph Bukari maintained there are plans underway to create a favorable environment for businesses in the sector.
First meeting brought together business leaders in the logistics and transport value chain to deliberate on improving operations and addressing the many challenges facing the sector. Speaking in an interview, Transport Minister Joseph Bukari assured sector players of plans by government to ease congestion at the ports and improve the business environment.
The purpose of this meeting is for us to put our heads together and see what changes we will do in the transport sector. If there are high freight charges or charges at the port, it is one of the issues we are going to deliberate on to see what innovative ways we are going to do or put in place to help bring down the cost of doing business in our ports. And also, what is it that we will do to decongest our cities, to decongest our ports, to decongest our seaports, and also our roads. So we are entering into the second phase. That is where we are going to have all these discussions. And like I told you, or like I said in my opening address, the ministry is always prepared to collaborate with them, to partner with them, to bring about innovation in the transport sector.
President of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Engineer Makamuama, urged businesses to foster strategic partnerships to grow their entities in difficult economic times.
This breakfast meeting has been conceived as a platform for the sector leaders and step away from the daily operational demands that are placed on us, and to engage in an open, candid discussions on critical issues shaping the industry of logistics and transport, exchange ideas, discuss present business challenges, and also unlock new growth opportunities. PILT firmly believe that by fostering a spirit of collaboration and knowledge sharing among our CEOs, we are collectively deliberating and permitted here to come out with frank issues that is affecting the transport, shipping, logistics, business, and of course, investments in Ghana. In addition to this program, we want to create a platform for insightful, honest discussions and also build what we term as a strategic partnership.
The transport and logistics sector CEO's breakfast meeting was themed Competitiveness of Ghana's Logistics and Transport Sector.
MTN Ghana has reaffirmed its commitment to empowering businesses through technology and innovation. Chief Enterprise Business Officer at MTN Ghana, Angela Mensah-Poku, made this known at the Chief Technology Innovation Officer Roundtable Africa event. Helen Akai has more.
Chief Technology Innovation Officer CTIO Roundtable Africa event brought together thought leaders and industry experts to explore how digital transformation can accelerate business growth and innovation across the African continent with a specific focus on Ghana. Chief Enterprise Business Officer of MTN Ghana, Angela Mensah-Poku, highlighted MTN Ghana's strategic commitment to integrating digital literacy into everyday business operations.
The great thing about MTN and MTN Business today is we're rolling out capacity building. So we will be doing digital literacy, digital marketing for our SME businesses. So it doesn't matter where you are. wherever you are, we'll hold your hand and we'll teach you small, until you are the experts, until you're telling us what we should be doing. So at every level, we're coming in and we're making sure that we can hold your hand and educate you so that your business grows from bigger to bigger to bigger.
The Chief Information Officer for MTN Ghana, Bernard Akwa, emphasized the pivotal role of data in driving modern business success.
We must learn data analytics, AI, of course, machine learning. And really, those are the ones to start the journey with. Okay, data analytics is a big one. Because if you don't hold data properly, it's like building a house on sand. The foundation of AI is the data you're holding. So anything that involves holding your data and being able to analyze that data, that's the key skill that companies should start with. And they can start small. That's what I was trying to say in my talk. Start small. When you are more confident, then you build up.
The CTIO Roundtable Africa event provided a valuable platform for MTN Ghana to reinforce its vision of building a digitally inclusive economy.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andy Osei Ukra, has reaffirmed government's dedication to position Ghana's cashew sector as a key driver to economic growth. During a working visit to the Bunu East region, Dr. Ukra met with cashew farmers and processors in Nkuranza and Tichiman, where he emphasized the importance of quality seedlings, value addition, and adherence to the authority's regulatory policies.
This was the second time the Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crops Development Authority, Dr. Andy Osei Ukra, was visiting the Bunu East region since assuming office. His first stop was the Nkuranza South Municipal Assembly, where he met with local farmers who raised concerns about poor irrigation systems and the need for improved cashew seedlings. Dr. Ukra assured the farmers of government support and revealed plans to establish a cashew processing factory in the region to enhance production and export.
I think it's been quite good. The objective is to meet the producers. Now they're saying they are producers. The very people who produce the cashew so that the production, the value chain production starts. So the essence of this trip was to meet the very people. But the other time we met the Traders and Exporters Association as stakeholders. At this time we wanted to concentrate and focus on the producers, the farmers themselves, to first of all introduce myself to them, share the vision we have, His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama's vision on cashew with them, and then listen to what they have also to contribute.
In Tichiman, cashew producers interacted with the CEO on issues relating to pricing, value addition, expansion of farms, and compliance with the authority's regulations. The Chief Executive Officer of the Tree Crop Development Authority, Dr. Andy Osei Ukra, highlighted government commitment into the cashew industry to create more job opportunities. He also visited some farms, including a 200-hectare cashew plantation owned by the 2015 National Best Cashew Farmer Nana Daniel Kwan, to better understand field operations and post-harvest challenges.
Anyway, we really appreciate the attendance of the CEO for this meeting. Yes, the cashew has actually helped us a lot because all our lands were just lying just like that. But to plant cashew doesn't care for any rich land or any say water. But whether the land is dry or not, if you plant cashew, it grows. So that has helped us to cultivate almost all the lands that were lying just idle.
He later toured the Ghana Nuts Company in Tishiman, one of Ghana's major agro-processors known for producing edible oil from shea and soya as well as animal feed. The visit forms part of TCDA's broader mission to strengthen stakeholder collaboration and boost value addition across the cashew value chain.
Thanks so much for watching Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Razak Musbao is next with Prime Sports.